video, I wanted to tell you a little bit about extensions. I want to show you a curly, sexy, voluminous hair tutorial using extensions, and also talk to you a little bit about buying extensions, what works, what doesn't, what you should look for. And just kind of show you how I clip them in, a tutorial of how I use them. So this is super simple to do. This video is probably really long because I do talk quite a bit about the quality of extensions and where to get them and how to clip them in and my tips and tricks for making them last longer, even years, and getting the most out of your money. This is a great tutorial if you really want to boost up your hair and just make it look amazing. So without any further ado, I will get into the video and show you guys how to create this look. So the very first thing you want to do is take your hair down and make sure that you have a heat protectant in. So it's been dry for quite a while since I've been getting ready. And what I like to do is just make sure that my hair is the same texture as the extensions when I apply them, just so that they look more flawless when we do blend them together at the end. To do this, I'm going to start by turning on my iron. I'm using the Sedu Diamond Revolution. I'm honestly going to be using this to curl my hair. Honestly, this is pretty much my go-to straightener and my go-to curler. I don't even need to travel with a curler anymore because I have this. I got this from Follica.com. I would recommend it to anyone. I do have other things like the GHD and the Chi and other irons and things, but this really does everything for me. It does have heat settings. I do 450 just because this iron does not damage my hair. If you have really fine or thin hair, you don't need it to be this high, but for me, this is what works because, as you can see, I'm kind of got Mufasa hair going on today and every day, being a curly girl. This really is the only iron that I can honestly say does not damage my hair. I think it has like negative ion technology, I really don't know. But if you're in the market for a straightener, I would recommend this one. Regardless of what you use, you want to make sure that you heat it up while you've got your protectant in your hair, and just kind of comb your hair so that, whoop, don't rip it, but kind of comb your hair just into place so that you can start kind of evening your hair out to match the texture of the extensions. The texture of the extensions that I personally use are kind of a wavy shape. I've used these multiple times, but I fold them back up into a little hairnet and I keep them in the packaging just to keep them safe. That's how I store my extensions. Some people just kind of lay them out in like a box, but I prefer keeping them kind of tight just to keep that curl in them. So we're looking for kind of a wave. We just want our natural hair to be smooth and wavy. If your extensions are curly, you want your hair to be curly. If your extensions are straight, you want your hair to be straight. So we are just going to start with that. So I'm not going to be straightening the way I normally do and, you know, going over it 1,000 times to make sure it's perfectly straight. I just want it to be smooth and untangled. So I'm going at a 90-degree angle to give myself volume at the root. And this is honestly already heated up in the time that I have blabbed to you. So I'm just going to run this over really simply over my entire head of hair, and then we can begin. Alright, now that I've kind of smoothed out the hair, we've got volume, we have a little bit of a wave, but our hair is overall smooth and ready for extensions and styling. But next we are going to work on a root lifter just to make sure our extensions stay put. Now, when it comes to using products on your extensions are pieces of hair that you're putting in your hair. And they're much more difficult to wash. You have to wash your extensions by hand. You have to treat them well, and they can last years if you do. But if you don't, they can get gunky, they can get nasty, all that kind of stuff. So you really need to make sure you are using quality products. On your hair in general, this is dead keratin coming out of your hair. It can't be rebuilt. Once an end is split, you can smooth over it, but you can't cure a smooth end. You want to take good care of your hair in general as well as your extensions. So I'm going to be using a texturizing spray and a root lifter. This one is from Mitch Essentials. This is honestly one of my favorites. You want to use something that's not gunky. If you use anything that weighs down your hair, you're not going to have this beautiful volume that we want. And part of this tutorial and having the right extensions is giving us this volume. So you want to use something that's like a root lifter, that's a texturizer, that's going to hold the extensions in place, but at the same time keep them looking natural. Make sure that you have a ton of volume and a bunch of these kind of gorgeous waves or gorgeous curls. And you want to make sure that it holds without making your hair gunky and ruining your extensions. Because honestly, there are other products and other extensions that I've used, and just from one-time use of the wrong product, it ruins a set of $250 extensions, which sucks. So you want to make sure you're using something quality. This is from Mitch Stone. It's for healthy, shiny, stone sexy hair. It's got V-Comp S. I don't know what that is. But this is really the only one that I would recommend. There are a couple of drugstore brands that I do use on my natural hair, but when you're using extensions, you need to use something that's right. So this is what I would recommend. It's priced fairly. It's a salon quality product, but it's not as expensive as they could charge. It's a really good value for what it is. Chi also has a couple of options, which are nice. And It's a 10 also have a couple of options, which are nice. If you have something you like, before putting it on your extensions, make sure that it works for your hair naturally, and make sure that you know how it works under heat and with teasing and stuff like that, just so you don't ruin your hair extension products. So this one has gone through trial and error with me, so is the Chi, and so is the 10. I'm going to be using this one. And again, this is just a spray. So I'm going to start by kind of sectioning off my hair and applying this just to my roots. I'm going to kind of go in layers, and honestly this spray is one that you can use all over your hair for texture, but because we are applying the extensions, you don't want to apply anything other than to the root before you actually apply your extensions, because otherwise, you know, our natural hair would have texture, but our extensions wouldn't, and then it would look off and uneven and all that fun stuff, which we don't want. So I'm just going to kind of put this into the roots of my hair. And you want to make sure that it dries before you let your hair down with each layer. Again, just applying this right to the base. And this will kind of help give us that look. And this also helps the extensions to lock in because they're little clips. So we want to make sure that we have a really good foundation so that they stay in our hair, and if we run our fingers through our extensions, or if someone else runs their fingers through our extensions, our hair doesn't come out in extension clumps, you know what I mean? Once that's dry, you can start working on your next layer. But not least is the top layer, and I'm going to be focusing right here on the back because we like a little bit of a poof just to give us that gorgeous volume. And as you can see, I'm kind of fluffing from the root. This gives us a ton of volume and makes the hair look amazing. Woo! So next I'll talk to you a little bit about extensions, just because buying extensions and knowing what type to get can be difficult. The ones I use personally are from Estelle Secret. This is a company in Denmark that I love. I've probably tried, I want to say 7 to 10 different extension brands and have been very disappointed. Some have been gifts to me, some I have had to pay good money for. The number one thing I recommend is getting Remy human hair. Now, extensions that are human hair are basically washed, sterilized human hair, but it's human. Your hair naturally is human. Why would you put something fake in your hair? There are fake extensions that is not real human hair, like synthetic, and honestly, they don't last as long. When you heat style them, your hair naturally is human hair. It'll style like human hair. If you use human hair extensions, your hair will style the same way as the extensions. Now, if you use synthetic, I've actually had problems where my curling iron or my straightening iron has melted the extensions that are synthetic. They just don't look the same. They don't act the same. They don't look the same over time. They fall out of their little clips. So to be completely honest, Remy hair can be a little bit more expensive, but if it's not Remy hair, don't even buy it. Don't even waste your money. Because it won't even look natural and you won't use them and it'll just be a waste. I haven't found any synthetic brands that work for me. But it's totally up to you. Next, you want to figure out what length and what count you want, because they sell them in like 10s or 26 pieces, because each set of extensions come with little pieces that you clip into your hair. When it comes to the length and to the style, you want to look at the hair that you want to have. Are you going to be wearing your extensions straight? Are you going to be wearing them curly? Are you going to be wearing them wavy? Actually, you want to buy an extension that's going to look like the way you want your hair to look. Now, if you want to switch it up, if you want to do it straight sometimes, if you want to do it curly sometimes, if you want to do it wavy sometimes, I would recommend either going with wavy or the thing that's closest to your natural hair texture. And again, with natural hair, you can style it and make it look just perfect and the way you want it to look. As far as length goes, how long do you want it to be? Do you want them to be shorter than your natural hair just to give you volume, or kind of bangs? Do you want it to be longer than your natural hair to actually give you volume and actual extension and length? That's totally up to you. They come, I think, from 10 inches all the way down to 26 inches. The one that I have personally is 26 inches. This makes my hair as long as it was before I cut it, which I love. Totally up to you. Next, how many are you going to clip in? Do you want a lot of volume? Personally, I feel like for the price that I pay, I would rather buy a set of, 10 pieces. And then if I don't want that much volume or that much length on that one day, I can just clip in 5 instead of clipping in all of them. Now, the hardest thing for me personally as a buyer and as a consumer is getting the right color. It's probably one of the most difficult things, just because when you're looking at a web page, unless you actually go into a salon and match your hair, if you're looking at a web page, there's no guarantee that it'll be right. And even if they have a return policy, I've purchased extensions that it's just supposed to say, oh, you can return it within 30 days, but then they say, oh, there's a $15 reprocessing fee. And it's like they're basically stealing your money because you can't get the right color. So I would personally recommend Estelle Secret. Again, this is the one that I use. It's from Denmark, and the reason why is because they give you a sample package of hair. So the way this works, these are my extensions. I've used them before. I've already opened the package. But the way it works is that it's sealed here and it says, do not open this side until you've tried this. And so what you can do, you can take this piece out. It's just a 2-clip, and you can use this to match to your hair. And you can play around with this, and you can heat style it, and you can do whatever, and you can make sure that this works for you. And if it works for you, then great. Open up the rest of the packaging and you're good to go. And if this doesn't work for you, you can shove it back in here and you can return it and you can get the right color. So that's something that's very important to me, and I would definitely recommend this brand just because they are honest and because they do that and because it's real human hair. And because it's fairly priced and it's from Denmark, so they have very, very good quality standards and sterilization and things like that. But if you're going with any company, regardless of what company it is, you need to make sure that you're getting the right color. And if they don't send you a sample to try out first, I wouldn't even buy it, because you could be stuck spending $200, $300, $400 on extensions that don't even match your hair. And just an FYI, another thing that I love about this brand is that it actually smells like human hair. There have been even Remy extensions that I've personally purchased, and honestly, they smell like plastic, or they smell like chemicals. This is probably the only brand I've ever used that doesn't. This honestly smells like conditioned hair. It smells cleaner, which is probably because it's been sterilized and all that kind of stuff. Because it has been sterilized and smoothed out, honestly, like, it just smells like conditioner to me, which is a huge factor for me, because if I've got somebody, whether it's a friend that I'm giving a hug to, whether it's somebody special who's running their fingers through my hair, whether it's a family member, I don't want my hair to be smelling like plastic or anything like that. I just think it's gross. And that's another reason why I really like to be able to try the hair out before you have to commit to buying it, is because you can actually smell, like, I don't know, like there's a sample piece here. You can actually smell the hair. So anyways, enough with blabbing about extensions. I will link you to where I got my extensions. These are really the only brand that I've tried and that I would recommend. They're fairly priced. I personally love them. I've been using them for a while, and they're still almost brand new, like smooth wise and texture wise. And if you know of any other really good companies that you've personally been pleased with, I've heard really good things about Luxie Hair. I haven't tried it, but if you've heard things like that, please post it in the comments so that I can kind of learn about that and maybe kind of extend my knowledge. This is the finest quality clip-in extensions. It's 180 grams heavy, and it's a full head set, so it's 51 centimeters long, and this is consisting of 10 pieces. It's a triple weft as well. Weft is how it's sewn in here, and like I've literally tried extensions where you put it in and they fall, like the hairs come out of the clip, which is terrible. This is a triple weft, so it's sewn in 3 times so that it actually stays in and it stays where it's supposed to, and your hair actually looks natural and feels good. These are 21 inches. I got wavy and number 6, which is the color that's brown that kind of matches my hair. And the great thing, I've never seen this with other companies. Estelle Secret is the only company I've seen this with. But they actually have these hair extensions that will naturally match to your hair. So I'll show you also, I store these just with a hairband around the base, and then I store them in their little hairnet just so that they stay kind of put together and neat. Here's a little hairband that I take off when I use them. Obviously. But these actually have like a microfiber technology. I researched these a lot before I actually got them, and these actually have a technology that matches to your hair. So if your hair gets lighter during the summer and darker during the winter, this has like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like treated a special way, or the natural hair is like this, and it's actually got like a natural thing that will kind of merge to the color of your hair. Because of the different colors that this hair is, it's not just like a flat color. Some hair is very flat. This one honestly is tone changing and like tone adjusting. So even a person who has darker hair than me and even a person who has slightly lighter hair than me could both use these, and it would look 100% natural on both people. So this is what they look like again. This is a little bit healthier than my natural hair, but that's why I kind of smooth it out with a straightener. And again, here are the clips, and they are 10 pieces. So some of them are like this with 3 clips, some have 4 clips, some only have 1 clip, and I will now show you how to kind of get these to kind of hold to your hair and how to apply these. So the first thing I'm going to do now that we have this texturizing spray, and this honestly gives us hold at the root. I have seen a lot of people with lower extension, like lower quality, they back comb their hair. Now you can back comb or tease your hair a little bit to give it almost like a knot, and you can clip the extensions into that knot to give it a really firm hold. And even with these extensions, if you're dancing, if you're going out at night and going to be, whip your hair back and forth, whip your hair back and forth, you know what I mean? If you're going to be doing that, then you probably do want to back comb or tease your hair. So just take a brush, comb backwards and create like a knot to clip the extensions into, but honestly, because this works for me, I just kind of spray this on the root, and it gives me enough volume and enough hold to hold these extensions in. Also, these are really high quality clips, so the clips grip very well. So this works for me. And if you do have really naturally straight hair, again, you may want to back comb because straight hair naturally lets things slide a little bit easier. My hair is naturally wavy curly, so it does hold pretty well. So I don't want to back comb my hair because I personally just don't want the damage, and with these extensions, I don't need it. So I'm going to show you how I apply these, and I'm going to start by sectioning off my hair. I'm starting kind of right behind the ear, and I'm going to just kind of create almost like a little line, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to start with the biggest piece of hair that I have, which for me is the 4 clip. So next I'm taking my 4 section, and I'm going to open up each of these clips. And the way that you want to do this, I know that a lot of people start by taking these 2 ends, and they want to clip both ends and then press the ones in the middle. For me, I would recommend starting at the ones in the middle and clipping it to the ends, because if you start on the ends, you might have like a big bulge here that doesn't look natural. So if you start at the very middle, you avoid that bulge, and you can just kind of clip them in where they naturally belong at the ends. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to the base, right where I created this line. I am pushing downwards, and I'm just pressing in to clip these on. So now that I have that piece applied, I'm going to let down another layer. Just because this is a 4, I don't need really another layer here. And I'm going to separate kind of by my temples and back and go in with my number 3, which is a little bit shorter than the number 4. Everyone does have a different method. If you're looking for more volume on one side versus the other, then you definitely want to put in more extensions on that side versus the other side. But for me, I like even, just volume is volume, and I'm just showing you how I clip them in. Everyone can do it differently. It's actually another 4. I'm sorry, I don't know if I said 3 before. Again, I'm going to open this up, but this one I'm going to do right at the crown of my hair to give a lot of gorgeous volume. And personally, I like to apply the pieces, like here's the 1 piece, I like to apply the 4s and then the 3s and then the 2s and then the 1s. And the reason why is because it is harder to find space for the larger ones if you start with the smaller ones. And I'm going to do my part kind of right about here. And when I look at my hair, I realize that I want a little bit more volume right here. So instead of doing my 3-piece at my crown, I think I'm going to do them right over here. I could do 1 at my crown. I'm probably going to connect them. So because I have 2 3-pieces, I'm going to kind of start here at the crown and wrap them over here so that I still have volume up here. And same with this one, so I get volume in the back and on both sides. So again, taking into consideration where I want my part, I'm going to clip that up and start with a 3-piece. And for this, I don't mind if they overlap in the back, but I don't want them to be sticking out of the front. So if I apply if I applied this 3 from the back and it was too far over, I could have this sticking out in the front, which I don't want. So I'm going to start at the front and then move these to the back. And if these overlap in the back a little bit, that's completely fine with me. you can kind of see these overlap just a little bit in the back, but that's completely fine with me because I do want a little bit more volume up here. So taking care of my part, I'm just going to kind of section off right down the middle. I'm going to just tie this off. And I'm going to apply some extensions right here so that when I flip this piece back over, it'll make it look very voluminous. So I'm parting again a little bit past my natural part, and I'm actually going to grab a little bit from the front here because I don't want extensions to be showing through the side. This one right into that corner. Pull this hair to the front and just kind of look at where I want that little bit of fill. And I usually like to put these on my bangs because they are smaller pieces. And sometimes right around here if I want a little bit more length up here in the front or right here on the sides, but totally up to you. I'm going to apply one right here. So the way I'm going to do this is kind of pull out the piece of hair I want it to be attached to and then flip the rest back. And also keep in mind that once you have extensions in, you want to make sure that you're combing and brushing and clipping your hair with clips and stuff very gently because you don't want to pull any of the extensions out. Alright, now that those are in, it's time to kind of comb through and style. So as you can kind of see, the extension here is much smoother than my natural hair. So you can kind of see where a couple of these little pieces are. And that's why it's important that we don't apply this to our hair before, but we apply it after. Because A, this will not ruin extensions, it will not weigh it down, but it'll create a similar texture so that it all looks flawless and the same throughout. So I'm going to start with a little bit of spray. A little goes a long way. I'm just going to kind of comb this and I'm going to comb this through until it dries out, holding here at the base so that I don't have pressure and I'm not pulling the extensions out from the root. And I'm not pulling the extensions. Just to show you the difference before I move on to the next side, this is the side that's been texturized. It looks natural, it looks all combined. Here it looks natural, but you can kind of see where the healthy extensions stick out. And that's why it's really important to use a high quality texturizer. Yeah, so now I'll move on to this side and then show you the finished look and how to curl or straighten to combine. Now that we kind of have the same texture throughout the hair and now that we have this gorgeous volume, it is time to style our hair. Now like I said, I'm going to be using my favorite straightener just to curl my hair. I'm going to be starting at the bottom and kind of rolling up naturally just to create some kind of bouncy curls. You can straighten, you can curl, whatever texture you want your hair to be. You can even crimp, totally up to you. The only tip is don't start or don't end right at the base and a little bit before. It is safe for these clips and this hair waft to be heated over, but at the same time you don't want to break down those clips at all, so stop right before you hit them. I have plenty of tutorials on curling your hair, on straightening your hair, on things like that, so I will link you to those videos, and for the sake of this video, so it isn't even longer than it already is, I'm just going to finish up with that and show you the final look. Alright, so now that the hair is all curled up, you can just kind of toss your fingers through for a looser look, or leave the curls really structured as is. And I didn't even put a spray in. Like I said, these are high quality extensions and a high quality spray, so I don't really need one. But if your hair is naturally straight or doesn't hold curl, you can go ahead and spray. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you learned a little bit about buying extensions. So I love you guys so much. Again, thank you for watching, and I cannot wait to talk to you all in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.